hello, welcome. I'm Moon, and today we are doing a collective tarot reading focusing on your career or any goals you may have. This was voted for in my Discord server. Remember to take whatever resonates and leave what doesn't. So, to start off, I pulled the Fox card to kind of get a read on your current energy with your career or your goals, things you're working on right now. The first word that comes to mind with this Fox energy is consistency. Like, I'm kind of seeing the fox burrowing, because I'm pretty sure they like to dig, so they might be digging like little tunnels and stuff. Like, that's kind of what I see your energy as. And I don't know, I'm getting this example of like, yeah, consistency, because I think it's almost like it's taken a while for you to get to where you're at. Kind of like how, it might take a while for a fox to dig a hole, to, dig their little den or burrow or whatever. So I feel like whatever you're doing right now with your career, with your goals, you've been at it for a while. I wonder if some of you are getting tired. It might feel very tiring. Ooh, for some of you, you kind of might be in this position of like, you've been doing this thing for so long that you don't really know how to imagine yourself doing something else. Yeah, I kind of get this vibe that it's like, maybe you make decent money, or, you're working with what you have. I don't know if there's like a part of you that maybe would want to be doing something else, or has thought about doing something else, or seeking out a different path, a different option. But again, there's that feeling of like, not really being certain, and that might just be something that's kind of been on the back of your mind, but you're just kind of like, well, I'm this fox that's just, I've been digging. That's all I've been doing, and I'm good at it. I know how to do this, and I know that there's almost like maybe like this safety net with it for you. I wonder if there has been like changes for some of you here that have kind of like disrupted the workflow, or disrupted your usual plans, or the usual, yeah, I guess just work that you're doing. Ooh, okay. So I just had a coughing fit, which won't be in the video, but like my throat, I just like choked on my spit. And sometimes when I'm doing readings and that happens, I take that as a sign of like a disturbance with speech, or like your throat chakra communication. So, this Fox page, which I might read in a moment, does talk about sometimes having a partner. So I think for some of you, you could have a significant other. It could just be a best friend. It could be a family member, but just like a partner you have in life, right? Maybe someone you live with. Maybe you've been afraid to, or just hesitant to speak up about wanting change with what you're doing. Like, maybe some of you don't even really see that as an option. Yeah, there's kind of just like, with what I've been saying, like, a lot of you just might feel stuck with where you're at, and like it's almost like you've just been dealt these cards in life, and that's where you're at, and you don't really think or know of a way of change. But yeah, I'm kind of getting that, like, maybe or it could even be someone at your job. Maybe some of you want a raise, or would like a promotion, or would like to move up in your field. For some of you, doing that might be a little nerve-wracking, or like it just feels like what you've been doing is very comfortable, even if it's not exactly where you would like to be for the rest of your life. There's like this sense of, this is all I know. This is comfort. This is comforting to me. And maybe you don't even know how to really start those conversations. Maybe you're nervous too. I don't know if some of you maybe are a big financial contributor to your household. Maybe you are supporting others, which is another reason why it's almost like not an option for you to change, because I think there could be uncertainty with that. Yeah, I'm just looking at this Fox page. I feel like you have a lot of value, a lot of skills. I do see you as a hard worker. Yeah, okay. I want to move on to the other cards, but I will hold up this page in case you do want to read it. Pause and read it for yourself. Okay. So now I think I'd like to focus on your possible future. So these two are your possible future, and then these are some advice cards. But I want to focus on your possible future if you continue going with where you're at right now. Just keep in mind that anytime I talk about the future, to take it with a grain of salt. The future's always changing, energy's always changing. I could be right, I could be wrong. Okay, so for your possible future cards, we have the Sun in reverse and the Ten of Swords in reverse. I did accidentally, a second ago, call this the Fool for some reason. I don't know why my brain went, this is the Fool card. So maybe that could mean something, but this is a newer tarot deck of mine. So this imagery is kind of new to me, so I'm excited. I don't know if some of you, there's almost like this maybe sort of dream you have, or something that you would love to put your energy towards, maybe even completely like have a job doing this thing, or it could just be like a hobby thing. Maybe you don't have time for it, or maybe, as I've been saying, like you don't really see yourself being able to do anything else. So it's like, it's almost like this, I don't know, this I guess dream or thing that you might be passionate about, that you might really want, but you don't see yourself getting. And because of that, I feel like you might almost have like a very pessimistic view about this, or about even your path in life, and maybe you've kind of given up on yourself a little bit. Given up on whatever this dream is. I'm gonna call it a dream, but I guess just interpret this however it resonates, you know? It just may be a specific, I don't know, just something that there's a part of you deep down that you really want. For some of you, it doesn't even have to be a job or a hobby. For some of you, it could be a place. I'm seeing like a home. Maybe a house, a place. Maybe you want to live in a certain place, but you don't know how that's really possible for you right now, given your situation. It feels unrealistic to you, and it feels almost like a dream, like something that you're never gonna actually reach. That's kind of what I'm seeing with this Sun card energy, and it's almost like you are like, yeah, it's almost like looking up at the sun. And it's interesting. This imagery upside down, it kind of looks like this person's like falling back away from the sun. What is his name? Icarus? Flew too close to the sun. That just came to mind. I don't know if that's a specific sign for someone. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Almost like you're accepting defeat. And this is your possible future, so please remember that you have a choice. You have free will. You can change this outcome. And maybe that's part of the reason you're here today, listening to this message, is to kind of give you a push or a reminder that it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to remain some far-fetched dream or something that you view as unobtainable. There's so many examples of so many people who their lives have turned completely upside down out of nowhere for the better. And maybe a lot of you are just like, yeah, but that's not me. You know, like, it's hard to imagine yourself in that position. But I think something that's given me hope is seeing other people have success. I've definitely changed my perspective and realized, oh, seeing their success and how they've turned their life around, that shows me it's possible for me. Because the truth is, they are a human and I'm a human. It's possible for me, even if I have different struggles and different challenges. Those things are available to me in some form. And maybe, I feel like some of you, your spirit guides brought you here to like, kind of hear this message of almost like a push towards an optimistic view, or just hope, to give you a bit of hope, or maybe just get to thinking about this again. Because like I said, I feel like a lot of you have just pushed this to the side and I've just almost like accepted your fate. And I feel like that feeling only grows in the future. You kind of like, and maybe this is just really how you imagine yourself, like sinking further from the sun being your dreams or what you're wishing and hoping for. Ooh, okay. Now I'm looking at this Ten of Swords. Which is interesting because upright, Ten of Swords, this is kind of the energy of hitting rock bottom. As you can see, this poor peacock, just being all these swords. And maybe these are kind of like your thoughts, because the swords talk about like our mental space, our thoughts, communication with others, right? Like maybe other people's words. Ooh, like, and maybe for some of you, there's like family or just the way you were taught growing up. Like you were not taught to be a dreamer. You were taught to be a hard worker. So reversed, I feel like this is, okay. I kind of see these as like two paths you could take, but they also could work together. There's the path of just kind of accepting your position, accepting a life where you are sinking further from things that would make you truly happy. Or just, I guess, this specific area of your life with your career, with your goals, like, because this is not to say like your whole life is like that. For some of you it might be, but I think specifically focusing on your career, like maybe part of you have just accepted that you'll kind of be in a meh position about it. I almost see it as like this way. Like this is a peacock kind of accepting defeat, or just kind of laying there from all the stab wounds. 28 stab wounds. Sorry, that might be a reference for someone, so that might be another sign. But this way, I almost see it as like, I guess almost using these swords as like walking sticks or like crutches, or like, even though it's uncomfortable, maybe a bit painful, I'm gonna say more uncomfortable. This peacock is using the things that used to go against them or hinder them to their advantage. And maybe there's a message of that. Maybe that's some way you can kind of move forward through this. It's almost like using your struggles to your advantage, which is really interesting. So I'm kind of almost seeing this as a timeline, as well as like you might go through a period in the future where you, as I said, feel like you're sinking further from the sun, further from these dreams, this idea, this place you want to be with your career and your goals. But then you might move into an energy where you kind of feel inspired at one point, or something really pushes you to actually give it a go, to actually try to move forward towards this. Even though it might be scary and uncomfortable, that's what it really feels like, is like you might be going against what, like I said, what you were taught, what other people are telling you actively, even just your own brain. Oh, I see this peacock looking up at this sword, like you're kind of like, you might reach a point where you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna try this one more time. Or just figure out a way, you know? Because I almost feel like it's like for a while you are okay with being in this kind of like meh, I've just accepted my fate energy, but there might be a day where you're kind of like, you almost like panic, or you're just kind of like, okay, maybe I should just try. What do I have to lose, you know? Okay. Now focusing on your advice cards. So the first one I pulled was the Empress in reverse, and then we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, and I'll talk about this owl in a minute. Ooh, okay, I was glancing at the guidebook for this one for this deck. Because as I said, this is a newer deck, so I'm a bit unfamiliar with the specific guidebook with this one, but yeah, I do want to read this out loud to you. So again, these are your advice cards. So in case you want to pause this, but it says, the Empress in reverse. Priorities must be reassessed. You may have neglected to attend to those things that are essential to your happiness. Attempts to convey care and thoughtfulness have twisted into something smothering and overbearing. If you overwater your plants, their roots will rot. Okay, so I'm kind of getting this, where you're at right now is what you think is the best for everyone involved overall. But the fact that you are thinking about these things and having these doubts so deeply, and maybe for a long time you've been feeling like this, like in the back of your mind, deep down, you may have neglected to attend to those things that are essential to your happiness. Like maybe you're in a position where it's like, on paper, or what I've been taught by my family, the people around me, like overall my life looks great. I should be content, or I should be at least grateful for the things that I do have. I should be grateful for this job, the opportunities I've had. I should be grateful for where I'm at. But you're still not fully happy. You're still neglecting parts of yourself. And for some of you, I've been kind of getting like, this may not be for all of you, but for some of you, like you maybe have like neglected, because with this fox energy, I feel you're very like grounded in reality, or grounded in what's in front of you. But it's almost like you kind of need to nurture the things that like your soul wants, or maybe more creative parts of you, or just parts of you that just bring you joy. I also just heard childlike joy. Maybe there's things when you were younger, even as a teenager or a young adult, that used to make you really happy, and you've just neglected on those things as well. Maybe you're just not making the time for that because maybe you feel like, or you're being told by your brain, by others, that you shouldn't be focusing on that, or there's no point in putting your energy towards those things that you enjoy, or the things that bring you joy, or working on things that would bring you joy. It's almost like you think you're doing what you should be doing, the right thing. And in some ways, maybe you are. Maybe you're supporting yourself and others, but you're not completely happy, are you? And yeah, I mean, it literally says that you may have neglected to attend those things that are essential to your happiness. Like, you think you are on the path of like what should be making you happy and content, but you're still missing things. And maybe for a lot of you, it's just as simple as you're doing all of this for others and not yourself. Or even just doing this job for your survival, doing these things for your survival, or I guess to materially live a good life, or as best you can right now. But you're missing those internal things that spark joy. And it's almost like maybe you're kind of in this energy, you know, as it says, if you overwater your plants, the roots will rot, where you just keep pouring energy towards this because it's, as I said at the beginning, oh my gosh, you just keep putting energy towards it because it's all you know how to do, or it's just all you have right now, and you're just scared. So you just continue being this fox, digging and burrowing. Oh, and that's funny because like, it's almost like, okay, talking about roots with this, like, maybe you've like dug so far it's like you can't dig anymore and you're just digging into roots, and it's actually damaging you more than it's helping you now, is what I'm hearing. So I think that's something to think about. With this Four of Pentacles, yeah, Four of Pentacles energy is feeling very reserved to yourself, keeping your resources and energy close to you. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna read this page for you as well. So here's this in case you want to pause it. Okay, so upright, and again, these are your advice cards. Upright, the Four of Coins indicates a desire for stability and control. You have not been as intentional as you had hoped, and you feel inclined to scale back your spending to conserve your resources. Though you are in a good place, the primary motivator for your fiscal behavior seems to be fear. This suggests miserly habits. You are neglecting opportunities to invest in things that will bring you joy. That's crazy. You may be keeping your best assets locked away from the world. Is that not literally what I've been saying? That's pretty much what I've been saying this whole time, huh? You are neglecting opportunities to invest in things that'll bring you joy. So it's like you almost feel like it's not worth it, or it's not. Yeah, it's like your joy, things that bring you joy or happiness, or just things that you're really passionate about, things that you love, just that make you happy. You just don't see it as worth it, so you're just investing. Yeah, I mean, I'm basically just repeating myself at this point. Yeah, so I think advice here that you should know is that it absolutely is worth it, and it's very important to invest your energy and time into these opportunities, into these things. So if you've been wondering, you know, is it a mistake to move towards these things that I want? I don't think so. It is absolutely worth it for you to pursue these things. Don't let your brain or anyone else tell you that. Now, of course, it is up to you how much you want to move towards this right now, what you want to do about it. But at the very least, I think I'm just here to tell you that your happiness is just as important as everyone else's. And it's not just a silly dream. It's not just a silly idea. It's absolutely worth it. And seeing how hardworking you are, I think you absolutely deserve this. You absolutely deserve to put that energy towards yourself. You're very deserving of it. So don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Now, to finish off this reading, I pulled a card for energy that you should embody moving forward. Or, you know, you don't have to, but this is, again, kind of advice still of like, this is what you should be embodying moving forward if you want to make progress with this, right? And I got the owl card, which is interesting because it's a bit opposite from the fox. The fox was an earth energy. This is an air energy, which makes sense as we've been talking about like ideas and dreams and opportunities, which feels more like air energy. Okay. Yeah. So this is the energy that, you know, Spirit is kind of recommending you embody. I'm going to read this page and finish off the reading with this. So here it is, in case you'd like to pause it. So the keywords are abundance, clairvoyant, treasures, The owl is a mysterious and otherworldly creature, found in folklore from east to west. The white owl in this particular deck is the companion of the goddess Lakshmi and represents wealth, beauty, and good fortune. When the owl card appears, it's an omen that a boon or treasure is on the way, either in spiritual or material form. With owl wisdom on your side, you'll see and know exactly what to do with this boon, how it can further serve your dharma and bring abundance to the world. Trust that the wellspring of treasures is infinite. When in balance, generous, trusting, secure. When out of balance, money quarrels, scarcity. To bring into balance, an offering. Okay. I definitely think this is a message here of, if you do choose to go towards these opportunities that may seem scary but would make you happy, you will absolutely be supported. And I think you should kind of almost embody the energy of someone who isn't there to fail, who isn't there to prove the people who didn't believe in you right, but you're there to be someone who is choosing yourself, choosing your happiness, and you will absolutely be supported. So if you're worried of how things will line up for you, I think even just taking a step towards it, you'll figure it out. But you have to actually take action and almost, I guess, put a bit of trust in the process. Trust that investing in yourself is worth it and that you will be supported. You will figure it out. You will find a way. And I know for a lot of you, I can just feel it with a lot of the personalities here watching this. You might be like, Loon, I don't really know how to trust things if it ain't got me a secure path ahead in the material world. I'm looking at things right in front of my eyeballs. What do you mean I have to just trust in the universe? I don't know how I was doing that accent, but I guess that's kind of like why this is the advice of like them pushing you towards this energy of like, hey, like, you know, you have relied so much on your skills and you've worked really hard, so you deserve to kind of, I guess, be a little whimsical or be more of a dreamer. Just take a chance and invest in your happiness. It'll be worth it, I promise. I think that's where I'm gonna end your reading. Thank you so much for being here and listening. I hope this helped. I hope this resonated for a lot of you. It would mean the world if you could like, comment, subscribe, all the things. It helps support me. I have private tarot readings available on my Ko-fi. The link is right there and also in the description below. I have private tarot readings. I also do free tarot live streams both on Twitch and on YouTube. And I also have art commissions open on my Ko-fi as well. So in case you're interested in buying some art for me, you can look at that over on my Ko-fi. Everything's down below. I'm wishing you a wonderful rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this, wherever you're from. Thank you so much for being here. I love you guys. Bye-bye.